Hey again, everybody. This is Andy from StarWars.com here at Lucasfilm headquarters. This week we're talking about Call to Action, where the Empire starts to take our Rebels a little more seriously. This is Rebels Recon. Proving to be effective and elusive, the Ghost Crew wins the attention of a powerful new enemy.
You have allowed a cell of insurgents to flourish right under your nose. Am I correct?
Meanwhile, Kanan plans a different kind of attack against the Empire.
What, we're gonna send out some kind of inspirational type messages?
Exactly.
After a daring assault, the Rebels successfully get their message out, but at a serious cost.
This isn't over.
No, it isn't.
To wrap up our look at the lighting of Star Wars Rebels, we're talking to Joel Aron and Chris Voy about how their work added drama to Call to Action.
All of the lighting that we do, all the tricks that we do to try and draw your eye into a character will always stem from what Chris Voy has painted.
One of my favorite moments from this episode is the beginning and the introduction of the shuttle flying into Lothal. We get some great shots of the city underneath the blue moonlight, and the moment that it comes into the hangar, suddenly everything goes to this gray Imperial color.
We lit all of this as much as possible like the arrival of the Emperor or the arrival of Vader on the Death Star. Very similar lighting, this very hard top-down lighting.
At this sequence toward the end of the episode, we chose to use a morning sky map with the sun coming up to kind of show the optimism and hope of the moment. Despite the fact that Kanan was captured, we wanted to represent the fact that the message that the Rebels were putting together to get out to the rest of the world does in fact get out just moments before the tower collapses.
I just want to point something out here, how we're ending. Usually when we're inside this Ghost, we have a set of lights that we always have on. But just for this one time, leading into the final episodes, I needed to get as little color out of everything except for the characters as possible. So we get as much of the lighting down on the room and just let the characters be lit so that all you're really left with is everyone except Kanan. And that's how it ends.
Chopper, we work together. It's really not appropriate. Chopper, wait. I'll still go to Celebration with you.
In this episode, the series takes an ominous turn with the arrival of one of the galaxy's best bad guys. Learn more about Grand Moff Tarkin in this week's Deep Dive. As an old school Star Wars fan, what was your reaction when you first heard that Grand Moff Tarkin would be appearing on Rebels?
It was pretty cool. I mean, the same kind of feeling when I read the Billy D script, the same kind of feeling when I read the Yoda script. You gotta understand, like, when you're a kid and this is all you know, it means a lot to you.
I freaked out, not only, because I would be interacting with him at some point, I'm sure, but also because I love Steve Stanton, who is the voice of Tarkin. So it was a mixed bag of joy and disdain, because I don't like the Empire.
What was your first reaction when they asked you to come back and do it?
I was absolutely just bowled over because I'm a big fan of Peter Cushing. I have been since I was a kid, long before I ever even saw him in Star Wars. And it was great because everybody's in trouble. All these really bad, evil characters are all shaking in their boots because Tarkin has arrived and they know, oh gosh, the boss is here, we're in trouble.
Where is he as a character at this point in the timeline?
Tarkin's doing great. He has all the power. When you see him in A New Hope, he's kind of reaching his peak. His vision and the architecture of the Death Star are finally being realized. At this point in the story, he is definitely well underway, obviously, with all of those plans.
I'm a big fan of Tarkin. There's a type of Star Wars villain that people are drawn to, which tend to be the more cinematic villains, the kind of Darth Mauls with the painted faces and the horns, or your General Grievous with all the mechanical arms coming out of him. But there's just something that's so terrifying about a severe British man.
Oh, yeah. This week you sent us your questions about Vision of Hope, so we took them to the story group's Pablo Hidalgo for answers.
All right, Pablo. Mr. Charbits asks, did Agent Kallus know the Senator was on their side from the beginning, or did he figure it out when he saw that he was hurt?
Oh, Kallus definitely knew. In fact, that was part of his plan. In some of the earlier versions of the script, we saw that Kallus and Travis worked a lot closer together. And in fact, it was Kallus who kind of played the Travis card to get him involved in the situation. And in fact, if you look at the end of the episode, the look that Kallus exchanges with Travis is kind of a look of like, all right, you screwed this up. This is on you.
That's probably not a good position to be in. Thanks, Pablo.
Have a question about call to action? Tweet it to @StarWars with the hashtag Rebels Recon, and we'll choose one to answer in our next show. Now, here's your sneak peek of our next episode, Rebel Resolve.
What was that? What the?
How you doing? Plug in, Chop. We need prisoner logs of all Imperial detention facilities.
Thanks for watching Rebels Recon. Rebel Resolve airs Monday, February 23rd on Disney XD and will be available on WatchDisneyXD.com and the Watch Disney XD app Monday, February 16th. In the meantime, check out our episode guide for call to action only on StarWars.com. Hey again, everybody. This is Andy from StarWars.com here at Lucasfilm headquarters. This week, we are going behind the scenes of Vision of Hope to talk about the crew's first big disappointment. This is Rebels Recon.